First of all, can I say it's a real honour for me and for Caral to be here today to meet with the descendants of those who were involved in a very, very important part of Irish and world history, the leaders of the 1916 Easter Rising. I have met with the group before and was very privileged to have been taken on a tour of the Moore Street site, a site which they have for many years been trying to preserve in the interests of the Irish people, north and south. Caral and I both are very supportive of what they're trying to do, because this project has enormous importance and symbolism for all of the people of this island. And it really doesn't matter to me what political perspective people come at this from. It's very important that we here from the Republican tradition respect the traditions of those who are Unionists, and all we ask in return is that Unionists respect the traditions that we are trying to preserve and honour. And given that we are in the decade of centenaries that many people speak about, we think it's of huge importance that we embrace all of these issues, not as challenges, but as issues that need to be dealt with in a very dignified and very respectful way. So we have no hesitation in expressing our support for what this group are trying to do. It is a real honour, pleasure and privilege to have the descendants of those who fought in the 1916 Easter Rising with us here today in Parliament Buildings in Stormont.
Just like to thank the Deputy First Minister and Minister Chuilin for entertaining us today on a very important day in terms of our campaign. A campaign to preserve and conserve Moore Street and the GPO area, which is the very birthplace of our Republic, goes on. It's now in its 10th year. The situation now is that the Minister Jimmy Deanan has to make a decision as to the future of the National Monument in Moore Street, which consists of 4 buildings. Our case is that there's much more at stake than that the entire area is worthy of National Monument status. As I say, we're grateful to be given this opportunity to come here today to present the Minister with our case for the development of an historic and cultural quarter that people throughout Ireland can be proud of. Up to this time, our campaign has been Dublin-based. It seems fitting that the first occasion that we've taken that campaign outside of the city, the capital city, that we would come here to Stormont, because, as I say, the area in question belongs to the entire people of Ireland. We want the support of people north, south, east and west to develop a cultural and historic quarter that will be a gift to future generations, north, south, east and west. So I'm honoured here today to be in the company of relatives of the Plunkett family, the MacDiarmada family, the Ceannt family, and a grandson of The O'Rahilly, of course, was the only 1916 leader to actually die in action.
It's obvious that many people are now very energised in the south of Ireland around the need to preserve this important site, which I do reiterate is a national treasure. And I think that the discussions that we have, minister to minister, north and south, allows us to have conversations with our counterparts around these important matters. And I know that Caral has been involved in discussions with Jimmy Deanan, her counterpart, around this issue in the past, and we intend to have further discussions in the future. But I think it's very important to stress, and the families have stressed, and I absolutely support them in this. This is a non-party political project. This is a project that can be, as Peter Robinson described in terms of the Long site, can be a mecca for tourism. And of course we have a body called Tourism Ireland, which has a responsibility for developing tourism on an all-Ireland basis. So I was fully supportive of the investment that went into the Battle of the Boyne site, because that too is part of our history. And I think it's important that people from the Republican tradition, from the national tradition, recognise that these sites are of immense importance, but also of immense tourist potential. And likewise, I would hope that politicians from other political parties that don't share our ideology or political views, would be broad-minded enough to recognise that this too is a hugely important site, not just in the context of Irish history, but I would contend world history.